So basically what ends up happening is Triple H talks about how he needs to punish everybody that's trying to be on Team Cena. And he tells Luke Harper to stay in the ring because you are going to be in a match up next. And then he kind of turns around slowly and he says, Dolph Ziggler, get on out here. You're in a match with Luke Harper. And then he does. And then we go to a commercial and we get back. And right before the match starts, we get the announcement that this is going to be an Intercontinental Championship match.
Yes, we do. And not only that, before the bell rings, the Authority goes to work, particularly Joey Mercury, Jamie Noble, and Seth Rollins.
Well, and Luke Harper helps too. It's not like he just kind of stands by and watches.
Yeah, that is true. Luke Harper does give aid. But, so they're putting the boots, and then Ziggler begins to fight off, but then he takes a briefcase to the face, from Seth Rollins, and then I'm thinking, oh man, Luke Harper, new Intercontinental Champion, but Ziggler doesn't go down without giving some notable swings. Harper and Ziggler actually do end up having a match here, Ashton.
Yeah, and you know what, dude? Here's my thing. Normally, in cases like this, I would complain because the pre-match shenanigans ended up basically having no impact on this match at all, aside from just kind of creating this story that Dolph has to fight from underneath yet again, because it still required a lariat, which is Luke Harper's finisher, to put Ziggler away. So at the end of the day, the shenanigans that went on before the match, the beatdown on Ziggler, probably wouldn't have even made a difference, because I don't think Ziggler would have kicked out of the lariat when it happened, even if that hadn't happened. But the reason I don't have a problem with it is because it did a really great job of protecting Ziggler and creating the image that, oh, maybe he would have kicked out of the lariat had the beatdown not happened.
That's a great point. I didn't even think about any of that when I was preparing to give my analysis of this. What I loved about this, because I'll tell you right now, and everybody knows that I'm a huge Ziggler fan, and that has not changed after this show. Don't mistake me for 1 second. But it would have been a heat of the night for me had Ziggler retained here. Because I've been loving the story that the Authority just keeps feeding him these obstacles, putting these mountains in front of him to climb just to be on Team Cena, at a good enough percentage and good enough health to put up a worthwhile fight. And I think it's really, they are making Dolph, I think, the most sympathetic member of this team.
Yeah.
And, I've been talking with certain people, and it wasn't even originally my idea that Ziggler would be the sole survivor of Team Cena. It's just an idea that I've incredibly warmed up to, seeing everything that they're putting him through. I've deemed it that it's very Shawn Michaels-esque, that he has to fight.
I've actually been meaning to ask you, how exactly is this Shawn Michaels-esque?
Well, why I say that and why I use that reference, it makes me think about Team Austin versus Team Bischoff from 2003 Survivor Series, and Austin had recruited Shawn Michaels as the last member of his team. And it comes down to Michaels versus Christian, Jericho, and Orton. Orton was the captain of Team Bischoff. Michaels, a bloodied mess, right, I think from something that happened earlier in the match, eliminates Christian, eliminates Jericho, and he's about to eliminate Orton until Batista comes in interference, and then Orton gets the pin. And why I say that is that Michaels has always been the guy, he gets put through hell, and he has to just scratch and claw for even a modicum of hope that he is going to get the victory. And that's just what's kind of resonating with me, seeing Dolph go through everything he's been going through. The Intercontinental title defenses, the cage match against Kane, this ordeal here tonight, and then God knows what he's going to be subjected to at Survivor Series if it all plays out. And I think they're making him, at least in my eyes, the most sympathetic member of this team for a reason. I'm calling it right now. I think he's going to be one of, if not the only, sole survivor for Team Cena.
Okay. Don't blow your load, dude. We have preview and predictions on Saturday, fool.
That's true, but that's what I'm saying right now. I mean, SmackDown's still a thing, and that could change the game. So, but those are just my feelings in the moment, man.
I mean, I will agree with you halfway, meaning I agree that Dolph Ziggler is hands down the most sympathetic character on his team, but I definitely do not buy into the whole he's going to be a sole survivor for his team idea. If anyone is going to be a sole survivor for that team, it's going to be Cena and Ryback, and that's it.
And you know what? In all likelihood, you're probably right. But
honestly, I could buy Ryback being the sole survivor for that team before I'll buy Ziggler being by himself.
Right. And you know what, though? I just hope that Ziggler gets some major shine, because I have been loving how they've been booking him leading up to this elimination match. It's been great.
Yeah, I mean, he's over the last like 2 to 3 weeks, he's won all but one match. But the problem is when you're defending your title in every match, all it takes is one.
Exactly. And you know what? Even for all of the Ziggler fans that may be disappointed by this outcome, I wouldn't be. Because this just keeps the sympathy going. The worst thing that can happen to a babyface is when you lose sympathy. Just ask John Cena. Ask, I guess, certain people that were formerly Roman Reigns fans when he really started to get on his roll before his injury. You know, this was probably one of the best things that could have happened for Dolph, in my personal opinion. So,
Yeah, I agree. It's kind of like the old Austin thing where he said in ECW that he didn't want to win the title on his first pay-per-view match because if he would have lost things to complain about and then would have killed his character. Ziggler losing the title here did more for his character than keeping it would have done.
exactly. Beautifully said. And I really have nothing more to add to this if you want to move on to the next segment.
Up next, we had a Kofi Kingston. Oh, well, I mean, first of all, after the match, Rollins did curb stomp Ziggler. I'm sure we probably already said that, didn't we?
I don't think we did, so thank you for
Okay,
touching on that. So, yeah, the humiliation did continue for Ziggler as Harper celebrated with the title. So
Yeah, and then we got a Kofi Kingston New Day vignette, and then we got a Grumpy Cat segment involving The Miz and Damian Mizdow, where The Miz cuts an angry promo on Grumpy Cat, with Damian Sandow cutting the same angry promo silently towards a doll or like a toy stuffed version of Grumpy Cat. And then when they're done, the Miz kind of goes back and apologizes to the Grumpy Cat and tells her that he befriended her on Facebook and then kisses her on the head and walks away. This was really, really weird. But honestly, I didn't cringe as hard as I thought I would.
I didn't either. It really was what it was for me. There's not much more I can add, so if you want to move on, we can.
Up next, we had Adam Rose versus Tyson Kidd.
And as great as it is to see both of these guys on TV, and they had a pretty good match seeing some of the things that Adam Rose was doing, some of his mannerisms, I don't understand why that bunny is still coming out with Adam Rose, and that understanding is twofold. I don't understand why Adam Rose would permit him to come out. I don't understand why the person under the costume, for their own self-respect, would continue to come out after the things that Adam Rose has done to this bunny. The beatdowns have been pretty vicious each time, but they keep coming back for more, so what are you going to do?
Well,
And
I mean, for what it's worth, if I were the bunny, I would still continue to come out if for no other reason because I get spotlight and I get TV time.
That is true. That is true. And we will see, though, that second verse wouldn't be the same as the first, because while Tyson Kidd would ultimately get the win in this match, after Adam Rose did show some Kruger-esque offense with the backwards kind of mud hole in the corner where he's facing, I guess, people, and he's stomping, from behind, and the spine buster, which is still one of the best in the business. Yeah, I said it. He gets caught by Tyson Kidd in the sharpshooter while the bunny is flirting with Natalia, so he taps out.
Who has a better spine buster, Adam Rose or Ryback?
Definitely Adam Rose, without question. I love Ryback, but his form doesn't even compare to Adam Rose's at all. So,
I'm surprised it was that easy for you. I thought that would be a difficult question for you to answer.
No, a more difficult one would have been who has a better spine buster, Robert Roode or Adam Rose, because those are two spine busters that I like both. But even then, I think I'd have to give the edge to Rose, if only by a little bit.
All right. Next level stuff here. Adam Rose or Triple H?
You know what? I still have to say I like Adam Rose.
All right. All the cards are on the table. Adam Rose or Arn Anderson?
I gotta give that one to Arn. I've seen only two. Yeah, I've seen only two AA spine busters in my life from the original, but those were enough to know ain't nobody gonna do it like that man did it. But that said, like I said, second verse was not the same as the first, because after the match, Adam Rose wanted to take his aggressions out again on the bunny. I think he tried to go for a right hand or something. The bunny gets Adam Rose in a waist lock, and then we see that the bunny had a nice dose of Visagra before he came out. So, yeah.
A nice dose of what?
Visagra. Remember when he was the world's largest love machine and used to hump people as kind of like his finisher? That's kind of what the bunny did here. He was kind of back humping Adam Rose.
Oh, Viscera. Oh, I see what you... Okay, yeah. Yeah, this was... this was hands down the worst segment of the night. Just the post-match. I mean, I'm not even talking about the match. The match wasn't bad at all. Just the post-match was the worst thing that happened all night tonight. And I don't want to be that guy, but I don't really care that much to let it offend me.
I'm right there with you.
You just know. Here's the thing, though, dude. You just know that there are going to be so many people out there that watch this 10 seconds of the 3-hour show and talk about it like it was half the show. Just blow it out of proportion and be like, oh my God, the bunny humped Adam Rose. This is the worst thing ever. What are you doing, WWE? Let's have a 10-minute discussion about how Adam Rose is getting buried.
I'm waiting for the video now. Like you saying that, I think, wow, it's inevitable to happen. But I think you're absolutely right, Ashton. Was it bad? Yes, but it was only 10 seconds. And as Ashton said, a 3-hour program. We have much bigger things, both good and bad, to talk about than something as minuscule as this.
Yeah, and frankly, I'm curious as to where in the world they're going with this. I mean, if you get the bunny to do the humping thing on Adam Rose, what does that mean? Is the bunny gay?
I don't know.
Is it just the bunny trying to assert its dominance like normal animals hump for sometimes?
I mean, is this just really psychological tactics?
Yeah, a mind game. That's what I just said. It's probably a mind game, but that being said, who's sick enough to use humping as a mind game?
I mean, well, we already know Goldust is doing something, so it can't be him.
Is the bunny Marcus Louis?
Maybe it's
that would fit on so many levels.
I want you to finally love me. Maybe Adam Rose was his husband that he was referring to in all those promos.
All that matters is that my husband loves me. Well, sorry, Marcus, but you're humping him from a bunny suit. It's not going to work.
Yeah, and you're costing him matches, so get it together, Louis.
Yeah. Well, the one thing that we do know is that it's a white guy, because you can clearly see his wrists are very white.
Yes.
Okay. Let's see. What's next? Oh, man. Bray Wyatt, maybe? Yeah, Bray Wyatt cuts his promo, and then Dean Ambrose shows up on the Tron and says that he hears everything that Wyatt says, and he talks about every single babbling, long-winded word that you say. Yeah, I hear it, but I'm sick of hearing it. And then he talks about how he did learn something from him, though. He learned a spooky magic trick. And he just said video recording, because he's not actually, in the back right now. He used his buddy's cell phone to tape this, and then he's actually in the arena looking for him. And then he shows up, beats Wyatt down, and Wyatt escapes.
See, I think that's both the intrigue and the danger of this program. And you and I have already touched on it, Ashton, so I won't go too deep into it here. But again, it's just like Bray Wyatt isn't able to intimidate Dean Ambrose this way like he would other opponents, because Dean Ambrose is already, people call him the Lunatic Fringe. So you're not going to be able to play mind games with a guy with a name like that. And I loved what Dean did here, just psyching Bray out in his own way. Got a few right hands on him before Bray went running. But I am very intrigued the kind of match that they're going to have at Survivor Series. But this program overall, man, I'm really beginning to dig your initial sentiments about it. It's really weird. You don't even really know what to say about it, It's difficult.
I kind of feel like I've said my piece on this, and my opinion hasn't changed.
Right.
Like, it's not good for either one of them, because one of them has a gimmick that the other one can't touch, and that guy has a gimmick that the other one can't touch. So they're just, it's the worst version of unstoppable force meeting immovable object.
Beautifully said. I'm not even going to try and add to that. Let's move on.
It's really, it's not even that. It's two immovable objects.
There you go.
Because they're both so unbreaking in their psychological warfare that it's like no matter what you do to either one of them, they're not going to change. They're not going to, this is the kind of thing that would be best from either one of them. Really, from Wyatt. Wyatt is, to me, best used as a heel turner. He's the kind of guy who'll go after a babyface and get inside their head, and even if they kind of get past him, they'll still turn heel afterwards because of the psychological torment.
Right.
But that, Ambrose isn't the kind of guy that's going to go for it.
No, because I mean he's already screwed up in the head. That's the character. Like,
Yeah.
what more damage are you going to do than what he's already living with every day of his life? It's just,
Yeah.
I don't think you can.
Right.
So again, I'll be interested in their match at Survivor Series, but I'm just going to wait until then to see how this all plays out. Apparently on SmackDown, and I might as well say it here because this is a relevant segment, we're going to get a look at Dean Ambrose's survival kit. So,
yeah, that's going to be a cringeworthy segment reminiscent of the green slime briefcase thing.
Yeah, we'll have to wait and see. So,